What is your kind of approach to, how does eating habits change when it comes to you starting working out and trying to get your kind of fitness goals in?
Yes. I mean, I definitely think both of them go hand in hand, right? Like, if
Mm,
you're going to the gym, this is something I used to do. I would go to the gym for 2 to 3 hours, and then I would be like, oh, I deserve to have this later, right? So you would do something good for your body, and then you would even it out by being like, oh, but I did this, so now I can eat this whole pizza and have, a bottle of wine. And I'm not saying you can't do that. But when it
mm-hmm,
comes to nutrition and fitness and wellness, it is such a like full circle. Like if you're doing the workouts, you need to, let your body know that you need to have the protein or feel out what your body needs. Like everybody is also so different. So like
mm-hmm,
something that somebody's telling you or that I'm telling you to do or to try or whatever it is, it might not work at all, which is why I think it's so dangerous to come out with like a diet or tell people what to do. I think the most important part is feeling out how you're feeling, right? Like after a workout, I feel energized after my workout, but a lot of people feel tired, right? So what does that mean? Like, what is my body craving? And it's really like if you listen to your intuition, and
mm-hmm,
especially all women have this, right? Like we know what's happening in our body. Like we know when we're craving this, it's because of this, and we give into it because we trust our gut. And you really have to do that when it comes to nutrition with working out too, because even though some people are like, I need, egg whites and turkey and all this stuff, like there's other people that just need, a protein rich vegetable fruit smoothie. So I
mm-hmm,
definitely think it's test and trial, right? It's like, okay, I had this after working out for the past 2 weeks, and one, I don't feel great. Two, my digestion is off. Three, I'm not seeing any results, right? So it's really
mm,
about what works for your body, and you can see the changes before anyone can. You can feel the changes before anyone can. So like when you find something that works, I think your
mm-hmm.
body's automatically going to be like, this is good, right? It's just about tuning into yourself and really feeling about like what's going on internally.
I feel like I actually, if I eat, it slows me down. So I think that
Yes.
it's so dynamic. I mean, our bodies and the way they work and based on our
And the way
lifestyle
they
and our
change
needs.
too,
Mm,
like with your age, because I can totally relate to that too. Like I used to not even be able to think about working out had I not had something in my system. And now I'm the
mhm.
same as you. Like I actually prefer to do the workout first thing and then get the nutrition in after.
How do you
Yeah.
feel like your concept of, I guess even your approach to wellness and health changed from your days of, you came into the modeling industry at a very young age.
Hmm.
How did it kind of change from then to now knowing what you know?
Oh my God. I mean, a huge change. I'm sure you know that too. Like when you start out, like I was scouted the first time when I was 14 years old, back in Denmark, which is where I'm from. And then again at 16, where like that's where I actually decided to like try it out. And then full time I started working at 18. And back then, it really was, to be honest, a very unhealthy relationship with food. Like it was, the food is the devil. Whatever I
Mm-hmm.
eat is gonna stay on me. I'm gonna gain weight. Like it was about only surviving, right? Like it was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
how can I eat to stay as skinny as I possibly can be and like just get through the day? You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
my immune system was shot, like my body, I was so exhausted. I wasn't treating myself right. Mentally, I was drained. I think that's one of the biggest things that you need to like, that you learn with age is like food is so important for your mental health. Where when you're younger, you don't really think about that. Like you don't really care, right? You're just like, I want to be a size 0 or a 0, 0, and whatever it takes to
Mm-hmm.
do it. Where it's like now, it definitely took a long time to get to the point of loving food again. It was almost like having a really, really bad relationship and never believing in having a partner again. And then
Mm-hmm.
having to start over and rebuild that foundation of being like, food is good for you. You need food, you need nutrition, you need wholesome ingredients, and starting to learn to eat full fat, right? Because I would always go
Mm-hmm.
for Diet Coke and zero sugar and zero fat. And like, it's such a different, you need to really just flip it around and be like
unlearn so many things.
Unlearn, exactly. So I've definitely grown so much. But I think everyone, when you're so young, and especially if you're a girl and a woman, that transition of going in from being, a young girl to growing into a woman, it's just, you really have to like sit down with food and be like, okay, you and we have a very long-term relationship here. We need to figure this out, and this needs to be healthy for both of us, right?
So would you call that time, like, would you call that an eating disorder?
I definitely think so, yeah. I mean, I have never openly spoken about it because I don't want to give it attention, because I remember back when I was in it, I would Google and research anyone who had it, right? And I would be like, what does she do? What's the trick? And I think, the more you like give it the power of calling it, saying eating disorder and talking about it too much instead of focusing on, okay, let's flip it around. Let's get back to basics. Let's get healthy, right? So yes, you can call it an eating disorder. I'm so thankful that I'm over it. But it's obviously every day is like, you got to remind yourself and check in with yourself and be like, okay, how am I doing? What am I doing to my body? And I think that's, even if you don't have an eating disorder or something that extreme, I think it's very important to really feel out what's going on, right?
What do you feel like what made you, get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to stop and kind of reevaluate the way I'm going through life and just change everything up? Was it like a person? Was it something that happened to you?
I think it was timing, and I met someone in my life that really, gave me confidence to believe that I didn't have to be this, unhealthy zero person for me to be good enough, right? Like, I think at a certain age, I just also hit that level where I'm like, okay, life is happening. And like, we got to take care of this, right? Like, it's not only so much about worrying about the wrinkles and like all of this stuff that's going to happen automatically, which I don't even mind. I'm like, bring it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just sign of memories and a beautiful life. But like, it came down to the point of being like, okay, like, I might not actually live that long if I do this. And I'm afraid of dying. I think a lot of people are very scared of death, right? Which is natural.
Yeah.
But I was like, I gotta like figure out a way to like start taking care of this. And then I met someone who, definitely helped me, just supported me into doing that.
So did you always have, this kind of interest in fitness and sports, or is that something that was, introduced into your life not that long ago?
I have always been very, very active. I don't think like it wasn't like fitness, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be like 12 years old and go into a squat circuit. Like, I would be like playing sports or dancing or, basketball, ping pong, tennis, running, whatever it was. And then obviously when I started modeling, you meet an agency and they're like, oh, you need to like get back into shape, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, where's the nearest basketball team around here? And then, obviously you end up going into fitness, and that's how I started really like learning about it. I was very fortunate that like, personal trainers are not cheap. So when I started making more money, I started working with a couple of different trainers who taught me so much, like, God bless them, because like I would know nothing if it wasn't for educated, real trainers. So then I started doing that, trying every class. I'm sure you've tried like so many different classes, right? And you either leave feeling so good or you leave being like, I don't ever want to do that again.
Exactly. So true.
It's so true, right? So I'm like,
So
okay, we
true.
gotta like do something that makes us happy and not miserable.
So then you launched, like, not how long ago did you launch your app? You're kind of the
March.
in March, so not
I
that long
know.
ago. Oh wow, what a great timing.
Weird.
It was actually great timing though, because I feel like
I
people are
know.
like,
It
you
was
know
like
what,
I was like I
I'm gonna
kind of
start
feel so
moving.
weird that this is happening, but I guess it is happening. It was literally, I think we launched on March like 22nd and I went into quarantine March 12th.
Oh wow,
So it was like
there
10
you
days
go.
later of being locked in the house, the
Hmm.
app came out. So it was pretty good. But I mean, it's a crazy world. I can't, got to take breaks from it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And each day, you know, you take it day by day because everything always changes. It's a
Yeah,
lot. But
I
when
know.
you were, so it's interesting to me because you're an entrepreneur, right? So you came from modeling, and then was it scary for you to get to a point where you're like, I want to branch out to do something else and not just be like, you know, Nina Agdal, like supermodel. Like I want to do
Yeah, I
something
mean, I would
else.
ask you the same question because I want to hear your perspective on that. I definitely think it's scary, you know, because it's like for so long I had someone scheduling my life. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you have an agent, you have an agency, and they literally, you know, they tell you, okay, for the next week, this is what you're doing. These are your times. This is the money you're going to make. Have a good time. And then going from that to having your own schedule and having to prioritize like time and figure out how to do that and staying
Mm-hmm.
motivated without having someone stand there with a whip and be like, you need to show up at 7 a.m., right? I definitely think that was like a tough transition and scary, but also so rewarding. Like, I mean, I can't like, you know, it's just when you do something for yourself and something that you're
Mm-hmm.
passionate about, like that's what brings anyone joy, right? Like that is like if you
Yeah.
find that, if you find something that you love doing that you can make money on, you're kind of in the gold mine here, right? So